Back when I was in my early 20s and had been seriously bitten by the full leathers race replica bug, there was a wonderful batch of small displacement motorcycles that you could buy that were perfect for new riders who wanted to look cool and go fast. Recently, a whole wave of small displacement sport bikes arrived at your local dealership, and they appear to have picked up on that trend that first appeared back in the late 70s, early 80s. Bikes such as Yamaha's R3, Kawasaki's Ninja 300, and KTM's RC390. Added to that list is the machine you see before you now, Honda's CBR 300R. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey, that's a CBR 500, right? But you would be mistaken. At the heart of this beauty is a liquid-cooled, fuel-injected, dual overhead cam, 286cc single-cylinder engine, mated to a slick-shifting 6-speed transmission. Up front, you'll find a 37mm non-adjustable fork, a 296mm single disc brake, and a 17-inch radial hoop. While out back, a single, adjustable Pro-Link shock soaks up the bumps while riding on another 17-incher. ABS is available as an option, but how does the CBR 300R work out on the open road? Well, this week we invited Kathy McCracken to sample the Honda alongside a Yamaha R3 and Kawasaki Ninja 300. And here's what she had to report back after a full-on day in the saddle.
So we rolled this out of the garage this morning. It was nice and clean, ready for you to ride. What was your first impression when you saw the motorcycle?
I really like it. It looks nice. It's not a tiny bike, but it's small enough for someone who's short like me to ride. Really liked the way it looked.
So you fired it up and off we went. What was your impression about the bike's engine itself in terms of shifting, the sound of the motor, the power of the motor? What did you think?
Really, really smooth shifting. I never had trouble with shifting it at all. I wouldn't like to ride it extensively on a highway where you need a lot of extra power potentially to pass or get out of a bad situation. Anywhere else, lots of power. Didn't sound like a little sewing machine, which I was actually afraid it might at first, being a single cylinder, right?
Right.
It had a nice sound. It's not an overpowering exhaust, but it's not non-existent either.
Right.
Really nice sound.
So the bike has a single disc up front, fairly large, and it obviously comes now with ABS brakes, which is really great for safety.
Yeah.
How did you like the braking?
It was a little different from my bike at first, I'll be honest. So I felt it a little spongy the first couple times. Maybe I wasn't quite ready for it. Once we got going, I never had issues. It stopped where I wanted. I wasn't overshooting any marks. It wasn't too aggressive either, so I wasn't startling myself when I stopped.
How about the suspension? We were on everything today from a really nice, super smooth road to some really potholed back roads. How did you find the suspension?
It didn't skitter. So when I was going over bumps, it wasn't skittering around on me. I did notice, obviously, the bumps. It wasn't perhaps as soft as something I'm used to, but I don't ride a sports style bike myself, so it's not quite what I'm used to.
Yeah.
But it never felt like it was moving around on me.
Right.
It was very solid.
So what did you think of the overall fit and finish of the motorcycle?
For an entry-level bike, and it's not hugely expensive, it looks really nice. There's no obvious flaws. You don't see joins in bodywork. It's very smooth. It's well finished and put together. I really am pretty impressed for if this were an entry-level bike. Really nicely put together.
What's the one thing that really impressed you?
Really light and nimble. They all handled fabulously. Like we cornered. These are roads I've never ridden, and we were riding pretty quickly through a lot of those corners and never felt that it was going to wash out. They all handled great.
So who would you recommend this bike to? Who is this bike targeted for?
I would, a small, as in short, new to brand new to novice female rider. Really, I think if you were tall, you'd be cramped on it, and I think you'd be disappointed. It's going to run them for probably a couple of good seasons.
Yeah.
And then when they outgrow it, you've got enough riding done in a couple of years to know what you're going to look for in your second bike.
Right.
Because you really have to get, a couple years in before you can decide, what am I really going to use it for and what do I want?
So great for those first 1 or 2, 3
Definitely.
years of basic riding skills.
Basic riding, yeah.
Getting your confidence up and feeling safe.
Yep, getting out of trouble, no problem, and learning all the things you need once you're out of basic training.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much for helping us out today.
Thanks, it was great.
Great job.